I'm sure all of you have heard by now that Lorraine Warren passed away a few days ago. Now, Lorraine Warren and her late husband, Ed Warren, are still and always will be my paranormal heroes. I remember when I first got into the paranormal field years and years ago. I'm talking about when I was little, like 6 and 7 years old. I remember hearing stories about, like the Amityville horror. I remember just reading about the different cases that they went on, whether it was the Borley Rectory, the Haunting in Connecticut case, the Perrin family case, which is the Conjuring case, the Enfield poltergeist, and then there's the obscure ones like the Bill Ramsey case. There's the Bigfoot in Tennessee one, where Lorraine Warren made psychic communication with a young Bigfoot who was about to make its presence known to them, come out of the brush so that they could see it until a forest ranger that was with them accidentally scared it off. And so from the time I really became a paranormal investigator, which was about at the age of 10, is when I fully committed myself to learning everything I could about the paranormal. The very first thing I did, aside from look up, basic equipment, basic knowledge about the paranormal, was I looked at their cases. I looked at how they investigated these cases, not just in the field with equipment, but before the investigation. What kind of research did they do? What did they focus their research on? Did they focus it mainly on the clients? Did they focus it mainly on the location or the alleged specter, ghost, entity's life? Or, did they wait until the very end to do the research to try to put it all together and see if anything lines up? That was the kind of stuff I looked into. The thing that, had the most impact on me was their interview process with clients. I've read The Demonologist, which is probably their best book in my opinion. I've read it twice now. I've also read the Haunting in Connecticut book, also called The Haunted. It's a very, very good book. If you haven't read either one of those, definitely check them out. But going into their interview process with the clients, mainly Ed Warren leading them, it was very thorough, very in-depth. And that was something that I've always tried to do with all of my cases, whether it's just a regular going to a location, investigate, or if it's helping somebody out. I try to be as thorough as humanly possible because you never know what small detail in a haunting will make the most difference, when the investigation time comes. So that was, out of everything about Ed and Lorraine Warren, that's the number one thing that I've always kept in my mind, was always be thorough before, during, and after. And something else about the Warrens I think is very underrated, but it's also extremely important, is the care for their clients. They basically treated their clients as if they were a member of their own family. And if you look at how they kept up with clients, how they helped clients, even months, even sometimes years after cases were resolved, they still always kept close contact with everybody just to make sure everything was all right. And if they ever needed help, they could be right there quickly. And they would have an up-to-date information of what's been going on since the last, they're part of the investigation. So the Warrens, out of all the investigators I've ever read about, whether it's Frederick Hergensen, Constantine Rodave, George Meek, all these people, the Warrens have always had the best impact on me. And I had the honor of meeting Lorraine Warren in 2013. There was an event at her house. It was called Warrenology, and you gotta, hang out and talk to Lorraine Warren, Tony Sperance, members of NESPR, which the Warrens started in 1952, and you got to see the Warrens Occult Museum, which is where they had the Conjuring Mirror, Annabelle the doll, and a bunch of other haunted artifacts. It's a really cool place. I really like being there. It's got a very strange energy to it too. That was something that, I knew to expect, kind of a mixture of energies when I went in there. And mind you, when I went there, I was 13. So I was really just learning how to read different energies, how to pick out individual ones and that kind of stuff. And so, it was almost like sensory overload, but it was still cool. It's something that every once in a while I'll go back and I'll look at the videos and the photos I took. And I just remember it's one of the coolest things I've ever done, mainly because, I got to meet and hang out with Lorraine Warren. And it was really cool. Her and her son-in-law, Tony Spera, they actually stayed about 30 to 45 minutes after the event talking to just my dad and I. And that was the coolest thing in the world. She was the nicest person you could have met. Very funny. Was telling me some stories about, some of their lesser known investigations. Was talking a little bit. We talked about the Conjuring case. It was very cool. And she was asking me about some of my work, did different things like that. I told her at that point I'd mainly been investigating cemeteries. And, she was giving me some tips, some advice on that. But the one thing that I remember her saying to this day, and I hold it true with everything I do, is no matter what you do, always have the best intentions in mind. Now, that can apply to an investigation, a public investigation, a private investigation, a residential case, and it can apply anywhere else in life. No matter what you do, always have the best intentions in mind. And out of everything, Lorraine Warren said to me, that's the number one thing that sticks out. So I was, devastated to hear that she passed away, but she's with Ed now, and I'm sure she'll be looking down on all of us. So I just wanted to make this quick little video for you all, and I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you've met Lorraine Warren or even Ed Warren, leave your story below in the comments. I'd love to read it, and I hope you all have a great day.